Self-assessment tax returns for 2021, the deadline has been changed. There's also been updates in terms of how you can make your tax payments. Check out this video as we'll go through all of the gory details. Okay, so hi everyone. I just want to give you some updates in regards to the self-assessment tax return deadline, which obviously is usually the 31st of January each year, in which you submit the tax return to HMRC and you pay the tax liability on the same date, 31st of January, normal deadline. But HMRC have just released something on the 6th of January 2022, which says actually we're going to change a couple of things. I'm going to just break that down for you in this post, which you can see the URL if you want to check it out yourself. I've highlighted a few things for you to look at. The first section here, I'm just going to acknowledge this. HMRC Revenue Customs is waiving the filing deadline late payments penalties for self-assessment taxpayers for 1 month, which basically means that they are looking to you to submit your tax return on the 31st of January. That doesn't really change. What is changing is the fact that they are not going to be giving out any penalties. Does that really mean they're extending the deadline? Well, yes and no. They want you to submit the tax returns, but they do know that it's going to be unlikely for a number of reasons. What it says here is anyone who cannot file their tax return by the 31st of January deadline will not receive a late filing penalty, but they can do so on the 28th of February. So a full month extension right there for you. Interest will be payable from the 1st of February. So if you are late filing your tax return, you will get a tax penalty, the usual £100 typically, and you then have interest as well. So if you do not file it on the 28th of February, you will have a penalty, but there will be interest from the 1st of February for the tax that you do not pay. So what does this really mean? Because they're saying, well, you won't get the £100 fine if you do not submit your tax return on the 31st of January, but they are going to charge you interest from the 1st of February. Okay, so you have this extra bonus, but they're going to slap you at the same time. If you've got a huge amount of tax to pay, the interest will be incurred for that 1 month. Lucy Fraser from the Financial Secretary of the Treasury said, we've recognised that Omicron is putting people under pressure, so we're going to do something about it, which is good, right? It's they can understand it. I'm not sure I understand or agree with the fact that they're going to charge you interest on the 1st of February. Surely, if they're going to extend that deadline to the 28th of February, that they should really also do the same thing for the interest. Feels a little bit harsh from my perspective. However, they also acknowledge that people have different things to think about on their self-assessment tax returns. For instance, they have taxable income. So if you receive self-employment income support schemes or coronavirus job retention schemes or anything like that, then there will be that will be a form of income, and therefore you will need to have tax on that form of income. So there's a couple of other information on there, but what I did find interesting here was there is a deadline here, 1st of April, last date to pay any outstanding tax or to make a timed payment to avoid late penalty. So this is not just interest, but they are talking about penalties as well. If you fail to pay your tax after the 1st of April, this penalty will come into play. There wasn't much more on this particular thing, but what they did pick out was this one. If you cannot pay your self-assessment tax bill, what do you do? So basically you've got this make your time to pay arrangement, which basically will be there if you have filed your latest tax return, you owe less than £30,000. It means that they will agree with you a payment plan. And you are within 60 days of the payment deadline. Now, please note that the previous piece that I looked at was the fact that it was saying that you've got until the 1st of April to make your final payment. But typically, you have to make your payment on the 31st of January. So does that mean really, if they're extending the payment and the deadline submission to the 28th of February, does that mean that you've got 60 days from there on to notify them that you can't afford to pay your tax bill and go on to this payment installment plan? My view, to play it really safe, if you know by the 31st of January that you cannot pay your tax bill, please don't wait until after the 31st of March, because actually you could be faced off with a bit of a problem if they're not sure themselves of what the deadlines are, because there's changing from the 31st of January to the 28th of February. It can cause you problems. So maybe just get in contact with them as soon as you can to say, can I go on a payment plan? And basically the plan to pay the debt off within the next 12 months or less. So you've got 12 months or less to pay your tax bill. But you do need to remember that if you are going on a payment plan, does that mean that you could have this double tax bill to pay, which is your payment on account for the next tax year? So again, you do need to weigh this up. Don't cripple yourself by going on an installment plan if all that's going to do is cause you hardship in the future. There is a telephone number to call, which is 0300 200 3822. The lines are open between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. So it is worth you thinking about doing this kind of work. My name is Simon Michowicz from Optimised Accountants. See you again soon.